What's going on? My name is Andrew Wilkes. I am an online fitness coach turned online fitness coach, and this is the exact video and content strategy that got me to $28,000 to $40,000 as an online fitness coach, and how I got my client Omar to $20,000 in October. So let's go right into it and kind of get right into the video and get right into how we're going to start structuring your content to start making money as an online fitness coach in 2026. With our content, when we look at creating content, one of the first things we want to understand is we want to understand our ICP. We don't just want to jump into this expecting to make content for everybody. The first thing you need to understand is exactly who you're helping, right? So if you're a fat guy helping fat people, right, or an ex-fat guy helping fat people, or you're a skinny guy and you're trying to help guys bulk up, you're a busy professional who's switching into online fitness coaching, and you're trying to help other busy professionals, get in great shape, or even you're coaching dads, whatever it is, whatever your ICP, your ideal client portfolio is, those are the guys that you need to be focusing on. All right, those are the guys that you need to be focusing on mainly in your content, because if you're attracting everybody with your content, you're not going to be signing clients because none of your content is going to speak to the ideal person. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So starting here is the problem. We need to come up with the problem on why our videos aren't working, right? So most people in fitness coaching, let me pull out my handy dandy drawing tool so you guys can kind of follow along with me here. Okay, so when it comes to most guys in the online fitness coaching space, one of the major flaws that everyone's kind of making right now is we are sitting on making attention-based content rather than conversion-based content, right? Attention-based content is going to be stuff that's going to bring eyes to your page. Like, yes, we need it, but that's not going to do anything if we're getting a bunch of attention for our physique or our mindset videos, but we're not making anything that's converting to an exact type of person, because conversion equals dollars in the bank account, right? So right now you're trapped posting 3 times a day, but you're getting burnt out because you're not getting any income from it, right? Posting 3 times a day is great if you're making 30 grand a month, but when you're posting 3 times a day and they're not getting anything from it, you're not making any income from it, it's frustrating, dude. Everyone knows that. So what we have to focus on is high engagement does not equal high income. Okay, so we have guys who come to us with 200,000 followers, and we have guys who come to us with 700 followers. We have guys who make purely value-based and switch right away to what we tell them to do, and they can close clients right away in their first week. And then we have guys with 200K followers who are literally just grinding at the same viral content that got them the views without any sort of value, right? So they're making high engagement videos with a low income versus our guys who are making purely conversion-based content, making a high income right away, right? So think about it like this. The spray and pray method, so just spraying your content and praying that somebody reaches out to you, isn't going to really work anymore. So we don't want to be spraying and praying with our content, right? You're competing with tens of thousands of other fitness coaches who are saying the exact same things, the same meal plans, the same how-to videos, the same even mindset videos, really, because you're not being personal, right? So this is where our story element kind of comes into play here. When we're looking at our story element, right, we really have to kind of understand that we talk about our own story, right? So I had 15K followers but couldn't pay rent, right? The wake up call moment, right? So like for most of my clients, the wake up call would be like, guys like you would be like, I have a big following, or I'm posting content and I'm not getting followers, or I'm not getting my followers to pay anything or buy anything or get any sort of high income skill from the skill that I'm trying to sell. And it's not because you're bad at what you do, it's because the content doesn't sell high value, it doesn't scream, I know what I'm talking about, it doesn't relate to them, it doesn't feel anything, right? So you need to make storytelling content about your wake-up call to get in the best shape of your life, or your wake-up call to make a change with your mindset, whatever it is. It's going to be the wake-up call moment, not just for you, but for your ICP as well, right? So let's go on to our next section. When I go to our section 2, right, now we're focusing on false solutions, right? So here are the few things that you've been told within the fitness industry when it comes to posting content and why none of it's been working for you. And if it has been working for you, you probably wouldn't be on this video. So you're on this video because your content's not converting. Like me, for example, we're able to pull in the amount of money that we do with fucking no views, right? We were able to do $28,000 to $40,000 a month as a fitness coach with 1,100 followers at the time, right? So when you're looking at this, one of the false solutions, right, post more consistency, right? Post consistently, try and go viral, right? Just DM people, just cold DM people, right? Or run paid ads. But what you have to understand is when it comes to posting consistently, right, more content doesn't mean more clients. It just burns you out faster because you're putting in more high leverage work without any high leverage payment, right? Or when you're looking at going viral, for example, right, going viral is going to get people who are looking at your physique and going, I want that, which isn't a serious buying metric, right? it's not really going to bring real buyers. It's going to bring in what we call tire kickers, people who are just going to follow and look at your content for motivation, and there's nothing really there that's going to help them kind of inspire them to change, right? So that's why going viral just doesn't work, right? Posting more consistently doesn't work, right? When it comes to running paid ads, the expectation, right? So the expectation versus the reality, the expectation is you put money in and you're going to get 10 clients hitting you up off $100 investment. It's not how it works, right? So the reality of it is it's very expensive and it requires very, very sophisticated funnels that you probably don't have in place yet if you don't have a content funnel in place, right? So for that, this takes way more work than you think it does. It's not just like you put $10 into an ad and you get money out. So many guys come to me and they're like, well, I've tried ads. I'm like, oh, how'd that go? They're like, oh, not good. Well, the reason your ads aren't working is because you don't have a funnel system to get them from your ads. And even though your ads are being posted, maybe they aren't formatted the right way. Maybe they aren't attracting the right people. Maybe you don't have the right people to hit them up. Maybe you don't have the right funnel to get them to your DMs. So it's not going to work if you don't have everything else in place. So focusing on organic is going to be the key for you at the moment, right? Then you always hear it, just DM people, just cold DM more people, DM more people. That's not going to work either, right? And here's why. The reality of it is everyone is doing this now, so everyone knows what you're doing, right? The prospects are numb to it. They're numb to the cold DM and going, hey, how's your fitness journey going? Hey, I appreciate the follow, right? Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to see it, right? So if we're transitioning from here, right? So if you're not posting more, if you're not going viral, and cold DMing is not working, what does, right? So what's going to work from here is the epiphany moment with your, what we call the epiphany moment with fitness coaches, right? And this is where the ecosystem, right? Trademark. This is where our ecosystem comes in, right? And first we want to go through the realization period, right? So high ticket buyers need 7+ hours of content to be consumed before they buy, right? That's the 7-11-4 rule, right? They need 7 hours of content, 11 pieces of content, and they need 4 different platforms to watch it on. Really, you can kind of focus on 2 right now. You can focus on your YouTube and Instagram. The reason we like YouTube is because it really cuts down. If they're watching a 30-minute info video, it's going to very much fill them with inspiration. It's going to motivate them, and you're going to be giving them info. So it's great to use YouTube the way I'm using this right now, right? So from here, you need multiple touch points across different platforms, right? So mindset, you need videos that impact their mindset. You need videos that, you know, they go into their making them make a change. You want to touch on different types of pain points. You want to kind of give educational videos on do this, don't do this. And then you want to give content that kind of shows who you are and talk about your journey, because your journey is going to be the most important thing, because they're going to relate to that, not some meal plan, right? From here, we want to go through the breakthrough, right? So this is our realization, and this is where we break through and actually start making money. So I stopped trying to go viral. It's the best thing I fucking ever hear from my clients is I stopped trying to go viral and I actually built out a ecosystem, right? So Instagram is for attention, YouTube is for conversion. So Instagram brings in a lot of attention, right? It brings in the eyeballs. And then from there, you want to convert to YouTube, because YouTube actually converts people to buying, right? It nurtures people, right? It gets people to know who you are and know your value. So from there, right? Stories are for nurturing, right? So what we have here is our Instagram gets the attention, our YouTube converts them to actually buying, and our stories are what nurtures people, right? So our stories, what it's doing is it's showing people our day-to-day life, and it's giving them more info on us and what we talk about and what we believe in and stuff like that. It's really building a connection, so it nurtures them into trusting you more, right? So, and then our VSLs, right? So our virtual sales letters, our long form content that tells them kind of exactly who you are, what you do, what your system, what your method is, stuff like that. That's for pre-selling. So that's once you're in the DMs after you do all these, the VSL is going to get sent over to them to really nurture them and build that trust. And that's doing all of them correctly will bring them into the 7-11-4 rule, right? So here's a little visual diagram of how that kind of funnel would go, okay? So first you start with a cold prospect. From cold prospect, they see an Instagram reel. That attention gets 30 seconds, right? They follow your page. Now they kind of get to know you, right? Now through daily stories, so daily stories, right? They're going to see 5 minutes minimum. We want to be posting 30 to 40 stories per day to really build this connection, right? From there, it's going to convert them to wanting to watch your YouTube videos, right? That builds trust in you. Now they're 15 to 40 minutes long. And then our VSL and our case study video is going to be about, you know, that's our pre-sale video. That's going to be about 20 minutes. So DM conversion rate, after they go through all of that, that's going to bring them as a qualified lead, right? So what we do in our DMs is a separate thing, and I'll walk you guys through that on a separate video as well. So from here, we want to get into our sales call, right? Sales, again, we have a separate video on that. Literally a big green format on my page just called sales. Go give it a watch, right? After they've done all of this, after they've watched your Instagram Reels, after they follow your page, daily stories, YouTube videos, VSL, and you've DM converted them, right, through our DM process, now you have them on a sales call and they're already sold on you. They just show up with an MX and they get ready to be a high ticket client, right? Once we've done that right. So where do we go from here? So where we go from here is we're going to be building out the new way, right? This is our 3-pillar system for content, right? So in here, we want to start with generating eyeballs to our page. So this is what we would call our top of funnel, okay? Our top of funnel content, right? If we get right into it, what we do is we want to show examples. So you don't want to you don't want to tell, you want to show, right? So point out hook structure, right? So you want to point the person out. From there, it's a pattern interrupt every 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds, a cut, a change, a pop-up, something to kind of interrupt the stagnancy. Sometimes I would even say 1.8 seconds is very good. You can kind of figure out where people fall off in your video by going to your average watch time on an Instagram reel, seeing what people watch until, and then that's usually when you would need a pattern interrupt, right? So if it's 3 seconds, pattern interrupt every 3 seconds. If it's 1.8 and they just scroll, that means you have a faster pattern interrupt or a better hook, okay? So value delivery has to be put in the middle after the hook. So you go hook, you build it up. So you go, this is why skinny guys aren't growing. So many skinny guys haven't been growing because they haven't been doing this one thing. That's a hook, and then that's our build up, right? From there, now we go into the actual value on how to execute on what we're talking about in the middle. And then at the end of the video, you want CTA. So you want to do follow for more, or link in bio, or comment this word for this. And usually from there, you want to send a long form video or message them in the DMs, okay? If they follow for more, then you can even hit them up and say, hey man, I saw you follow from this video. How's your content journey going so far, right? So from here, we want to go into just our straight up bullet points. So when we look at our bullet points here, right, what we want to go through is posting 1 a day. So this is our daily checklist. So post 1 a day, right? Not 3 times. Quality is not over quantity, right? So you want 1 a day, depending on exactly what you're doing. If you're posting 3 a day, make sure they're quality. You don't want to just shit post. You want things to actually matter, unless they're talking head videos with just a goal. It can be pretty simple, right? So following from generating eyeballs, your top of funnel stuff needs to be better built out. Your mid funnel stuff doesn't need to be as complicated, but you want 1 of these a day, right? You want quality over quantity when it comes to top of funnel. So you want to use viral hooks, right? Viral hook frameworks show, you know, if I kind of come in here, I'll show you exactly what we're talking about here. So when you're looking in here, you can literally go to ChatGPT, right? And go, give me 1,000, fuck, my keyboard didn't load. Give me 100 viral hooks for skinny guys trying to bulk up. Make it point form and make them to sell. Right, so then here, you're not genetically skinny, you're training wrong, right? If you're skinny, stop copying bodybuilders immediately, right? Literally, it's so easy to come up with viral hooks for your page, right? And when it comes to the top of funnel content, you can kind of look at it like this. Even for the 1,000 hooks, it doesn't need to necessarily be those. This would be more mid funnel, but for these, you can just do POV, you were skinny and locked in, or POV, you decided 10,000 steps was necessary, stuff like that, and then show the transformation. What I like to recommend is building transformations, telling stories. So tell each emotion that you went through at each different clip that you're showing during the transformation. So it's going to build a lot of relationship with your client because it's showing a transformation that they're trying to go on as well. So for content types, right, you want to look at these. You want to rotate between educational, myth busting, storytelling, and authority building, right? These are for your top 4 really, right? So Here's how to get shredded without tracking macros, right? Educational, and you give the education on it, makes sense, and you build up the same way. Myth busting, stop doing cardio for fat loss, here's why. And then storytelling, I was 50 pounds overweight at 22 years old, right? And then authority building, it's more content, more like my client lost 30 pounds in 90 days. What those do is it shows a few things. It shows what you do and you know what you're talking about. Right here, you're causing a common enemy. So you're kind of like grabbing attention with something like you're busting a myth that they thought was right. Going against what they thought was right is going to grab more attention than just proving them right. So storytelling is going to build your credibility on what you went through, which is going to relate to them. And then authority building is my client. Now you're relating their goal with one of your client's goals or even your own goals, right? It's all up to you whether or not you have clients or not at the time. Okay, moving in. The goal of doing all of this, right? The final goal of doing all this is you get them to follow, you drive them to Instagram stories, and then you send a YouTube video once they're engaging with your Q&As and stuff like that, right? So going in, we have our 5 story, right? So through here, these are why stories matter, right? Stories are where you really sell these people on you and on what you do on your program, right? Stories sell. Okay, it's not your content, it's not your YouTube. YouTube converts them to seeing your stories and stuff like that, but YouTube really converts them to buying. This gets them ready to buy from you, if that makes sense, right? Middle funnel content, right? So it's middle funnel content builds the actual value. The stories, you go more in depth, right? The stories, you want to go more in depth on what you're talking about and who you're talking to, and you can be more one-on-one with them and not focus on going viral, just building the relationship and connection, right? And it builds the relationship and trust on a daily basis. So here's an example. So for your morning post, for example, right? Show your discipline, waking up at 4:30 a.m., up, gym, journaling, right? It builds trust throughout the full process, and it shows that it builds trust through consistency, right? So showing that you're consistent with yourself will show that you're consistent with your clients, right? And it builds like a lifestyle, an example of a man that they want to be as well. So an example is, while you're sleeping, I'm training. It literally is so basic, but it hits people the right way because it makes them feel like you're living the life they should be living, right? A few wisdom posts, right? So I wouldn't recommend, this is where everyone goes wrong, is reposting tweets, right? What I like to do is, instead of making this, make it easy, right? If you have notes or screenshots of quotes or reposting tweets, instead of doing this, take the quote and say it, talk about it, because that's going to really build the authority and kind of build you as like the actual provider of knowledge and provider of information. They're going to listen, right? It shows you're educated and thoughtful, right? For example, right? Don't screenshot, right? Take a quote from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations or a book that you're reading or a podcast that you wrote and talk about it. Do not post screenshots. Talk about it yourself, okay? It's an easy way, it builds a lot more connection, it makes people feel like they're talking to you. You want to treat it like a private story with your friends. So from here, you can start showing your client work and your self work. So show you're actively coaching, so show like client programs, show stuff like that, show you on calls. Honestly, even if you don't have clients at the moment, the best thing you can do is showing your sales calls or show like you building out programs or show you editing videos, stuff like that, right? So have social proof. So if you have clients, it adds social proof that you do it for other people, because nobody wants to be the first person on a roller coaster, so it's scary. So what I recommend too is like you can do some like free clients too, right? Just like friends, family that you coach, so that you can start like kind of like posting those if they're not willing to buy, right? Or they don't have money, but you have some friends. Just delete the dollar from your mind and use that so you can talk to them and have that as posts. Okay. For example, a story on your page could be just finished coaching call with John. We fixed his nutrition by doing X, Y, and Z, right? And show that you know what you're talking about, right? From there, you can go to motivation, content, and Q&As, right? So from here, it's direct value to your audience. So you can give motivation, mindset, kind of here's how you do this, here's how you do that, here's why I do this instead of this, right? And then do Q&As on your story. So actually post a Q&A, and through Monday and Friday, they're going to have a ability to actually ask you questions about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, right? And you want to answer their actual problems. You don't want to be vague with it. You want to genuinely like make a video responding to what they're asking about, and make the questions related to what people that you would coach would be struggling with. Okay. Number 5, when it comes to the stories, client wins. This is most important. I understand some of you might not have clients yet, but this is so important. When your clients have wins, it's so important that you hype them up and you talk about it, because people want to feel like they're part of a tribe. So posting your client wins shows that you have a tribe and a community, and that's going to really bring people with you and want to be a part of something. They feel like they're missing out on something, right? So, right, add text for context. So John lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks while trying to eat, while eating steak daily, whatever your program is, right? From there, again, it's social proof and it makes people feel left out. On top of that, I wouldn't even recommend just adding text, right? Or like just a picture. I would even like do like a video of you guys talking. Get John, get your client. I do this all the time on my stories. I just go, hey, Sean, how was our call today? What'd you get out of today's call? And they go in depth because they're excited because they're learning, right? And they're going to go over the few takeaways that they have on their call, right? I'll zoom out. Okay. So, wrong way. Actually, right way. Never mind, right? So so here now we're on section 5, right? This is where I call the cash cow VSL. So VSLs are what we call the cash cow in our industry, right? So here's exactly how you would structure your first YouTube video to really start selling, right? And it really does it for you. It sells them on you without you having to do it. It takes away majority of the sales process, because what it does is it's a 15 to 20 minute educational YouTube video, kind of like something like this, but more in depth on your full program. And then from there, you want to go through your story, your method, and some case studies for other clients, or even how it worked for yourself, right? You want to put it linked in your Instagram and send it out in your DMs when you're nurturing people in the DMs, okay? From there, you have the structure of how your VSL actually works. The first 2 to 3 minutes was a little bit storytelling about yourself, right? So it's, I was overweight, depressed, tired, I tried everything, and then it leads to the breakthrough. Until I discovered this one thing, right? And this video can be anywhere from like 20 to 50 minutes. I recommend it being a little bit longer because you don't want to leave anything out. You really want to coach these people. You really want to coach them for free, because it's going to, the more value and more, relationship you build through this call, through this YouTube video, your VSL funnel, the more likely they're going to buy. It raises their buying temperature so high, the more value you give. Okay. So think about it like this. Every single percent that you help them is one more percent closer to them buying. Okay. So the breakthrough moment, I discovered this one thing, the method. So now it's your method. So mine was a locked in method. So it's teach them on your framework on how exactly you basically coach them. You basically want to act like you're coaching them already, and you're making this video for a client to see results without ever talking to you. Okay. From there, you go into case studies on either yourself or your clients, or something like somebody who saw results from what you do, whether it's you or your client. I always recommend clients if you have any. If not, again, you can coach free guys and put that in and help out your friends and family. But what I would recommend if you don't as well, and you're trying to get this done instantly, is using yourself. Okay. So then the innovation. If you want this help, book a call or DM me on Instagram. Okay. That way, if somebody sees it on YouTube, they understand to DM you on Instagram. You can also have your call link using Calendly. You can have your call link in the description so they can book in with you. I like to funnel them to the DM so you can really put them through a process and really communicate with them first, right? It's how you're going to warm up the buyer, right? And why is it powerful and why is this necessary if you don't know already? Prospects watch before sales calls, right? This pre-sells them, so the sales call goes way smoother, and the only objection left is usually price. The call becomes extremely easy, and that's going to get your closing percentage from like a fucking 10% to a 70%, right? And then the rest is going to be reliant on if you watch my sales videos or if you work with me to learn how to do sales. Simple, okay? So from here, we want to move into section number 6. The system in action. So how it works, right? So here's a breakdown on how it actually works, okay? So this is the customer's journey, not yours. This is how the customer is going to go through a journey to become a actual buyer, okay? So day 1, they're going to see your Instagram reel, then they're going to follow you. Day 2, watches your daily stories. They see your discipline, your wisdom, your client wins, so they start to trust you. Day 8, on day 8, you're going to post your YouTube video, or you're going to, post on your story with a CTA, something like that, right? So a story CTA, right? New video on how to get shredded without cardio. They watched the 15 minutes, right? Day number 10, another YouTube video. Now they're spending about 30 minutes watching you, right? From there, now they start to see you as the authority, which is insanely important for high ticket sales, because they need to see you as somebody who's a priority to buy from, right? So from here, where do we go next? Now you do story Q&As. They ask a question. You answer, because they're going to ask questions because now they're warmed up with you. From there, you're going to DM, right? DM me transformation if you want help, stuff like that, or a Q&A, and they ask a question, you reach out to them and you answer, right, on the stories, and you reach out to them because you're going to know who asked the question and be like, hey, John, I saw you ask this question. How's your fitness journey going so far? What about this are you struggling with? right? From there, you nurture using our setting process, which again, if you work with me, you have the setting at Keto. And if not, we have a full video coming out next on exactly how to set your calls. Okay. So from there, they're going to DM and you build the DM process, right? Then you send the VSL after you figure out what their pain points are, what they struggle with, and what they're trying to achieve. From there, they watch a 20-minute VSL video. They watch, mind blown, day 14, sales call is booked, right? They consume 60 plus minutes of your content. They're already pre-sold. Call gets easy. And now this is where it just starts, right? So now they just want to know how to start, which is usually giving you their card, right? The key takeaways from this is you multiple touch points, the different platforms, each piece of service was used as a purpose, and the system can run for 24/7, right? There's no off time. You can get away from this and it still works, right? Because once you implement different things down the line, like setters and closers and stuff like that, it works down the line. So this is a long-term game, right? Now we implement, right? So let's go into our implementation. So when it comes to week 1, right, you set up your assets. So you want to optimize your Instagram bio, right? Clear offer, link to your YouTube. So clear offer would be basically, I help this type of men with this problem. DM me, change for 1-to-1. Stuff like that. Have your YouTube in the link. They can see that as well. And then what I like to do on my Instagram is go here, right? Learn how you can do the same, right? Built a 6-figure fitness biz, right? Learn how to do the same right here. Usually brings you to a video quite like this one, right? So that's what you want to do, is kind of like learn how to get shredded without cardio, and learn how to get shredded without cardio in 30 days. And then with a finger pointing down the link or an arrow, whatever you want to do. It's all personalized, dude. It's all about you, right? So then you want to create 3 pinned posts, right? So your 3 pinned posts would be like a micro VSL. So a micro VSL, smaller version, like a microscopic version of what we just walked you through, right? Then you want to have your transformations, whether it starts with yours and then your clients, and then a touch point on your story, right? Your story is going to go over exactly kind of what you went through. So if we go to my client Geo here, load, right? And we go to his here, go my story. His is extremely long, but I love that because it really goes through everything. So here's my story, right? I was raised by his mom, right? He's telling a story about how he built discipline. He lost it. He lost it all through a DUI. He lost it all through smoking weed. He started partying. He lost his football. And then he had to get a part-time job, gave up on everything he wanted to do. And then he found the gym and he got in the best shape of his life, right? And then he got a job as a trainer, and then he moved into online fitness coaching where, now we scaled his coaching business from 1,300 followers to 72,000 followers. Shout out Geo, right? Beautiful story there. Similar to yours, right? Similar to mine. So right here, we want to set up our Instagram highlights with client wins, lifestyle, Q&A, VSLs, right? From here, we want to move into our YouTube channel. Creating our YouTube channel basically works like, you want to finalize it and have a profile picture, have your DMs set up the same way. So as your Instagram, you want to have your bio, set up the exact same way. And sometimes you can even put like a link to your Instagram in there, or even just a booked one-on-one, right? So your booking link, right? And then you start filming your content, right? Week 3 to 4 is where you start publishing your content. So 1 Instagram reel daily. What I like to recommend is 1 top of funnel and then 2 to 3 mid funnel. So a top of funnel, like we went over, is going to grab the eyeballs, and the mid funnel content is going to actually nurture them through the process and kind of build a relationship. So I like 1 to 3, where you do 1 top of funnel and 2 mid funnel per day, right? So, pop a lip pillow real quick. Pop one of these. Also, look at this cool little McLaren car my boy bought me. A little sneak peek on March. So right here, we want to do our 5 story pillars daily. So the 5 pillar stories does not mean you post 5 a day. It means those are the 5 types of stories we use. We want to be posting 30 to 40 times per day on our stories as an online fitness coach. This is what we find does the best. It gives people the most amount of nurturing time, right? You want to think about every single story you post being 1% closer to closing a client and then being fully nurtured. So if they see 100 stories of you, right, that equals 100% ready to buy. Mind my drawing, okay? So then we move into our storytelling on YouTube, which goes 1 YouTube video, right? Start with raw talks because they're the easiest, gets you used to talking on camera. Raw talks are about mindset, mental health, stuff like that, about how getting in shape changed your life, how getting close to God changed your life, stuff like that. You can go to the rest of my YouTube videos. A lot of them are raw talks. Use those for examples if you really want to, right? Week 5 to 6 is now you're going to build your VSL. Also, I say week 5 to 6 because some of you motherfuckers move slow as hell, but this can all be done in one fucking day. So I want to point that out. Like, this is week 5 to 6. Everything in here so far, when I started my coaching business, when my best clients start their coaching business, this is all done in week 1 to day 1. So if you're trying to be a good client, or you're trying to be a good fitness coach, like I was, my clients were, or you're trying to be a client, all of this can be done in 1 day to 7 days, right? I say week 5 to 6 to give you some, like, you know, some grace here, but in reality, you can do this in a day or 7, right? So script your cash flow VSL, right? Film it. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and you want to edit it a little bit. You want to keep it raw, but you want to edit it a little bit. Just like this video, it's not going to have many edits. It might have an intro, but that's different, right? That's why I recommend for your VSL as well. If you want a full VSL script and a guide on how to make it, just comment the word VSL, and I'll send that over automatically. It won't be me. It'll be an automation system. But if you want to talk, just communicate with me after. I'll talk to you after that, okay? Just DM me on Instagram, DM me VSL. We'll get right after it. So then you want to add your Instagram link to your YouTube, give them, and then start DMing, which Instagram obviously gives them a place to DM, right? These two correlate as you know, okay? So from here, now we're on week 7 to 8, which is or fucking day 7 to 8 for most of you guys. So if you want to be really good at what you do, this is day 7 to 8, okay? Also, if you've made it this far in the video, send me an eggplant emoji so that I know you actually saw me draw a dick there, and I know you watched the whole video, okay? So now we want to optimize and scale. So this is day 7 to 8. We optimize and scale. So increase to 3 YouTube videos per week now that we've gotten the hang of it. Analyze what's working and what's not. Obviously, we want to kill what's not working, and we want to double down on what is working, right? Double down on the top performers. Double down on the bitch. Keep going, okay? Make sure you are exploiting it like a motherfucker, okay? From there, we want to do the reality check type of content, right? So this doesn't take, not type of content, I'm in my head right now, but now I want you guys to have a bit of a reality check, right? This takes about 90 days to see real results, so you do need consistency. This is a daily process, right? You're not trying to go viral. You're trying to build a sustainable $100,000 a year business, or even some of you $100,000 per month business, right? So for this, it's going to take 90 days or more to really build a sustainable business. So don't give up. Stay consistent. For you little twats out there that expect to make $1 million off of 4 fucking weeks of posting or 4 fucking days of being consistent, go fuck yourself. That's never happened and it never will happen unless you get lucky and go viral. But then you're going to make 10 grand in like a weekend, and then you're not going to make any money ever again. Okay, so from here, we want to, double down on what works. But when it works, it really fucking works. Trust me, dude. As a motherfucker who's done it for himself, it really fucking works, okay? So this is where you need to double down. Prospects will be pre-sold for themselves. I hop on calls with guys, and they're just ready to buy. I don't hop on calls with guys who are, I don't need to sell anybody. They're just always ready to buy. They just know who I am, what I do, and they're just like, let's get it done, brother. And guess what? We just work together, okay? I don't need to do any of the extra stuff. I don't need to sell them on some sort of dream. They just know what I do and who I am, and they're ready. So that's why I say this works. It really fucking works, dude. Right? Now we go into the close, right? So here's why the old way doesn't work, right? We're posting random content. We hope someone notices. We beg people to DM back to us. The sales calls are hard and they don't know who we are. Conversion rates are low or 0% close rates, right? Which is probably where you're at, right? And now we go to our new way, right? The new way here, there's strategic content between our ecosystem. The prospects find us. They consume hours and hours of our content. They're pre-sold before the call, which makes our selling insanely high. So our conversion rates are now, we're at 60 to 70%. You see, I'm getting better at drawing. This is what I mean. Consistency, boys. This is like my 10,000th time using this whiteboard. Consistency really does make you money. Okay? So you probably thought I was a nerd or didn't know what I was doing when I was drawing up here. And then now we're on the last slide, and you're like, wow, this guy knows what the fuck he's doing. He's a real businessman, bro. He's basically Alex Hormozi, because I learned how to draw on the whiteboard, right? So consistency. So here's the truth. Don't mind me. I'm just uncomfortable in my chair. Okay. So, most cooked. I'm keeping this in. Okay, so most fitness coaches need to understand this, right? Most fitness coaches will not ever do this. They won't stay consistent. It requires discipline and consistency, but luckily for you, the physique that you've built over time took what? Discipline and consistency. So you have it in you. It's just a different type of thing. It's the same way as if you're an ex-athlete, you probably were hella consistent with your sports, but you wouldn't do your homework. It's time to get consistent with the right things, right? Be disciplined with this. Discipline is not just some bullshit that you make. It doesn't come, like, I got here because I don't like doing this all the time. I don't like working all the time. I work 24/7. And that's what it takes to get my business to 6 figures a month, 7 figures a month, and hopefully one day 8 figures a month, right? It takes consistency and discipline. It doesn't mean I need to do it. It doesn't mean I have or want to do it. It means I need and have to do it, right? But that's why it works. There's less competition. Everyone gives up, which means you get better results. And here's my challenge to you, dude. Make this a 90-day commitment. Commit to this strategy for 90 days. Follow this system exactly. Track your results. And you never know how good you'll go. And you'll never know how far you can go if you just don't go back to this fucking old way that you were trying before, okay? To make money as an online fitness coach and you want to get off the gym floor, you really want to scale your business to the point where you can quit your job or go all in with this. Follow the system for the next 90 days. And if you want more in-depth content or you have any questions about how to do it for yourself, I won't try and sell you in the DMs. I won't do any of that. I am going to be opening up my DMs for the next 90 days for you guys who watch this video to shoot me over questions, even if some of you want to hop on a call. Because I'm so passionate about showing that this system works, not just with my clients, but for you guys watching the YouTube videos, that I'm willing to work with you guys in the DMs and really help you guys the best way possible. So if you're an online fitness coach and you're trying to scale, DM me, right? DM me Prestige if you want to work one-on-one. And if you have any questions, just DM me VSL and I'll help you out with your full content guide, okay? So God bless. My name is Andrew Wilkes. I love you. God loves you. And I know you can do it. Just stay consistent and don't take bullshit from the world because the world is bullshit, and be the best version of yourself and be a good coach. Simple. Be a good coach and you'll get good results. Peace.